Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today for the finals of our 2022 case competition. Those of you who were involved yesterday should already know that the preliminary round was, I think, the best that we have ever had. It was a very, very strong set of presentations that led to a great set of finalists being chosen. All the teams did extremely well yesterday, and we had a great concluding event with the Meet the Professionals last evening. Thank you again for those of you who had a chance to participate in that. The first thing that we would like to do is thank New Engine. Alex White and Robert Milligan, who's with us as well. The New Engine has been a great partner for the WWU Marketing Case Competition over the last several years. Their financial support, their time, the case that they have provided has made this event possible. So thank you so much to you. I also want to take a moment to thank the leadership of our Student Marketing Association for organizing the event. They did a remarkable job. And the Applied IMC course under the stewardship of Dan Purdy has also done an amazing job of promoting the events and building the excitement amongst our students and amongst our volunteers and our alumni. So thank you so much for that. I also want to give a special thank you to Heather Christensen, who has been working very hard behind the scenes to make this possible, as well as Janine Bankston, who has also been coordinating all of the events and all of the registration. And it would not be possible for us to do it without the help of those two. And I also have to recognize the incredible work that Kat Armstrong-Soul has done in pulling this event together. Our first round, we had a large number of fantastic judges who participated. Their names are all listed here. So I thank all of them. And now we have our final round judges. I will be a judge today, along with Zach Ortega, lead content strategist at IBM. Who has also done some very cool work in the NFT space. Welcome, Zach. Ian Sloan, a former case competition winner, is here. He is also with New Engine in a senior sales associate role. So welcome, Ian. Thank you so much for being here. And Alex White, Associate Director of Media Services, WWU Marketing Alum, and WWU Marketing Advisory Board member. Thank you for being here, Alex. And finally, Robert Milligan, Senior Manager, Media Services at New Engine. Thank you, Robert, for being here as well.
Okay, thanks, Ed, for that introduction for the judges. I just want to go over a little bit of information for the attendees and let everybody know how we're going to run things today. So as Ed mentioned, we had a great preliminary first round yesterday. In case you all haven't read the case, the attendees, teams of 3 students received this real world case created in part by Alex White, a real New Engine client, Figs. They are a D2C scrubs company. Just to make sure everyone knows what our competitors will be working on and presenting to you today. They had a week to think about and create suggestions about positioning and a promotional plan. So those are the presentations that you'll see today, our 3 finalist teams. Attendees, we're really excited that you're here to support the students. As Janine mentioned at the beginning, there's a feature where you can submit Q&A. And so when the judges have time to ask their Q&A, we may also be able to cull a few questions from the audience. So feel free to submit those there. And after the 3rd team presents, we'll also ask you to vote for your favorite in the People's Choice Award, which is really exciting. So make sure that you stick around to that point and can make your vote. The Zoom poll will pop up for that. After the third presentation team goes, we'll have a little marketing presentation about stuff that's going on in our department right now while the judges deliberate. The timeline's going to be off a little bit because of the technical difficulties, but we'll try to be back close to 11:45 with information about the winners. And just to remind everybody about the prizes that are generously furnished by New Engine, the People's Choice team, which will be the team that the most audience members vote for other than the first place team. If that happens to be the case, we'll win $150. We have $300 for the second runner-up, $450, first place is $600, and they also get some professional development opportunities with New Engine, specifically some networking events, and also get a spot in an interview position for internship. So we're super excited about those opportunities, and thanks again to New Engine for that. So here's the plan. As I mentioned, we might be like 15 minutes behind schedule, but in just a moment, I'm going to turn it over to our first team to do their presentation. They'll have 20 minutes to present with 5 to 10 minutes of Q&A, and then we'll just get right into the next one and the next one. So we'll go back to back. And then, like I mentioned, afterwards, we'll have the People's Choice voting deliberation, and we'll be back to let you know who our winners are. And that's all I have to say. And I'm super excited to turn it over to our first team to present. So Nicole, Ashley, and Arnav, we can't wait to hear your presentation.
Good luck, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
A moment, please. Good morning, and thank you for your time today. Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
We are Nicole, Ashley, and Arnav, and we are excited to share with you our FIGS 2022 first quarter position and promotion strategy with you. Our presentation addresses our current positioning proposal, the promotion strategy, and finally, an analysis of why we recommend this approach to reach our first quarter goals.
Sorry. This year, our number of active customers grew by 46%. This is where we are, but we want to be even better. Our marketing campaign, Brand Love That Grows With You, is projected to foster brand loyalty amongst a larger demographic. It's all about redefining how we convey athleticism in the means to be able to grow with our consumers. FIGS will be renamed as the brand that continues to not only provide warmth and comfort, but mobility throughout an entire career. We are bringing stability and certainty into an ever-changing field where our consumers never know what to expect on a daily basis. It's all about the experience, from putting on our famous scrubs at the beginning of their careers all the way to the very end.
At FIGS, we've built our brand image around focusing on people who save lives. And in many ways, we think about these people like we think about athletes. People with intensive jobs that require reliable materials that people want to wear. It's an athletic brand, and rightfully so, because scrubs have to see their users through intensive and often unpredictable days. While this approach has been successful for us, part of why we're here today is because we want to address a possible threat that challenges a new brand. We want to address a possible threat that challenges our brand. Mandala, a relatively new company with a focus on keeping costs down, is taking drastic leaps in market share. Given our current operations, it is entirely possible for Mandala to steal customers from FIGS. So how do we address this issue? A potential solution would be lower prices to compete with Mandala, but why lower prices to appease a different market when we already perform the highest within our own marketing position? We think the true solution lies elsewhere. So let's redefine athleticism. Traditional FIGS consumer probably shares a key trait with many athletes: youth. We already know that FIGS does well with customers aged between 18 and 35. But as competitors lower their prices, we believe that it is better to include customers aged 35 and above.
For the first part of our discussion, we would like to address our place in the competitive landscape, including our annual revenue growth, forecasted trends in market share, and our positioning strategy. We are currently positioned as the leader in scrubs brand with the highest revenue in high fashion scrubs. Our top competitors are Metalita, Janu, and Mandala. For the past 9 years, we have remained the market leader with increasing returns year over year. However, notice how quickly this white line here, low cost, high fashion brand Mandala is gaining market share in relation to our own trajectory during the last 4 years. This is us right here, and this is Mandala taking huge strides forward. This graph illustrates Mandala's market share size relative to our own. In 2019, Mandala's market share size was 10% of our size. But by 2021, their market share had climbed to 65% of our market share size. After running a simple linear regression, our model predicts that at our current trajectory, the size of Mandala's market share will surpass our own by the end of the first quarter in 2021. Again, at our current trajectory, we need to make some significant changes to avoid being overtaken by Mandala's market share. We need to increase our market share to 26% by the end of Q1 to avoid being surpassed. Our current market share is 21, or our estimated market share for the end of the quarter is only 21%. Therefore, we need to reposition in order to hold on to our prime market status. So we have two options. We can move our cost scale down and compete directly with Mandala for their customers by reducing our cost and risk losing our brand status and jeopardizing our brand equity, or we can position ourselves even more upmarket. We decided that the best approach was to position ourselves more upmarket by expanding the target audience to include professionals with experience, focusing on serving more affluent medical professionals between the ages of 35 to 64.
Part 2, our promotion strategy. Like stated before, we want to grow our brand to create more connections that will take us on a journey with our consumers. It's all about looking and feeling great in our scrubs. We want to start off by creating a more personalized feel to our overall brand. We want to revamp and transform our position, emphasizing the movement of people in our scrubs. Social media is all about representation. We want to showcase people at the beginning stages of their career, showing that we are the #1 brand to turn to at any point in their lives. So to start off, the kickoff video. We want to start with a produced kinetic video commercial that highlights our consumers in different medical professions, all different ages, all helping people save lives. We want to mix in interviews and testimonials with action-filled scenes showing career journeys and why they love our scrubs. This video will go on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, platforms designed for seeking larger attentions from consumers. To get these consumers to these platforms to watch, we want to promote and expose our video on Instagram and TikTok, apps designed for short attention spans. Taking highlight reels of our kinetic video will in turn create a more personalized feel, showing consumers that we want to show their stories and devotion to their careers. We want to continue highlighting different individuals at different stages regularly in mix with our current content. This will give us that sophisticated but personal feel. The next step is gauging consumer reactions. We want to hear feedback and stories from our consumers. With our already trending #WearFigs, we want to create another one. #FigsForYou, an opportunity to hear about the journeys and experiences, finding ones that we want to highlight and call attention to. It's about how their passion brought them to their current stages in life, with our fig scrubs backing them up every step of the way.
Additionally, we want to increase focus on FIG's LinkedIn presence. It's important to boost our presence and engage with the community of affluent professionals who frequent that website. One of the ways to do this is to use LinkedIn as an extension of our new Facebook presence and use it for video promotion. But what can we do that is specific to the LinkedIn community? Blog posts are the answer. Engaging with a more experienced demographic isn't more difficult, it just takes some more personalization and an emphasis on practicality. One of the best ways to do that is to have posts dedicated to how FIG's products are practical and sustainable. FIG's prides itself on being ridiculously high tech, so let's talk about it. What makes our products so high tech? How does our technology actually help people? For implementation, this could really be as simple as taking key achievements from our impact report and making them more accessible through blogs.
Another part of our ad strategy, in addition to changing the way that we're posting online to our pages of fans on social media, we'd like to address our targeted ad spend. We are currently spending $500,000 per month to reach our 18 to 35-year-old target market through paid social media advertising. What we are doing is working, and we recommend maintaining our current advertising strategy for this regular budget. So with our remaining $300,000 budget for this quarter, we would like to distribute our additional funds by allocating $200,000 to targeted Facebook ads and $100,000 to targeted Google ads, which would earn us an $880,000 annual return on ad spend. This graph here shows the amount that we would get in return for the amount we're spending in our advertising for Facebook and Google. So to make the best use of our advertising dollars, we want to be very specific about where we're spending the money to focus on the individuals that we want to reach most. To reach these high net worth individuals, we want to hyper focus on location based on the areas where doctors and nurses earn the highest salaries and search for figs the most on Google. This ideal customer has an income of at least $60,000 and are between the ages of 35 to 64. We're going to raise awareness from people with these specific characteristics through targeted Facebook and Google ads. We can also narrow down our focus even more by focusing on those who enjoy a healthy lifestyle, targeting hobbies such as running, hiking, biking, and even cooking organic food.
So part 3, why is this our best strategy? Let's dive in. Just to re-highlight, our promotional strategy is not about repositioning in the marketplace. It's about expanding on something already great. Where we currently are. We want to use our current strengths and take it to an even higher level by increasing our age demographic size. Stereotypes about aging have prevented businesses from making true inroads into these untapped markets. Affluence rises with experience. According to a Wall Street analyst, most FIG consumers are between the ages of 18 and 35, and majority of them are repeat customers. Some key points that I would like to highlight. In our own survey that we sent out with 92 valid responses, 82% of those respondents stated that they've heard about our scrubs. And of those 82%, 62% said that they have purchased or have been given our scrubs. And 4 out of 5 consumers state that they would recommend and buy again. So we've hit the mark on the consumers we're already targeting. But what about the 35 and up? Consumer behaviors are changing. People are staying in the workforce longer. People with more experience are more affluent, willing to stick with a brand that is growing with them. So why not generate new sources of revenue while increasing the amount of repeat customers?
Shoppers 35 and older want an easy shopping experience. Our website has already given us an impressive functionality that prioritizes ease of use. Shoppers can choose between various models based on size and other characteristics to see clothes on someone who more closely matches their body type. The prosperity of online business rests heavily on personal customer experiences. Online shopping is more about your customers than it is about business. It's about people over profit. Authorizing a personalized experience is an effective way to retain your customers in today's competitive market. Understanding the likes and interests of our customers will help deliver a memorable shopping experience. It only takes about 0.05 seconds for users to form the initial opinion of our website. These crucial moments show our customers why they should continue shopping with us online.
Accustomed to chasing after youth, companies have often missed opportunities like stated before. These generations don't see themselves being represented enough. Companies tend to use models who are too young and too thin. The 35 and up demographic wants something modern and stylish for themselves. Finding clothing that is more tailored to their bodies is one of the most important considerations for this demographic. There's always a market for clothes that fit well for any body type, 13 to 35 and the 35 and up. How we redefine athleticism is all about choosing a healthier lifestyle. Millennials, Gen X, and baby boomers are all in consensus that they want a healthier lifestyle, making self-care a priority. There is a greater importance on healthier lifestyles, meaning they are willing to spend money on products they believe will help them achieve longer and more active lives. These consumers are interested in making purchases for pleasure and for health. FIGS is where people 35 and up go to dress as young as they feel. So for the expansion, the 35 and up demographic has a lot of buying power who aren't afraid of spending money. According to industry forecasts and the distribution of aggregate spending, it shows that millennials, Gen X, and baby boomers are all important consumer targets with long-term loyalty and future growth potential. There are key characteristics within each generation. The millennial generation makes up the largest share of the US population. While we are catering towards part of this generation, there's still a lot of consumers to connect with. 25% are more likely to engage with online advertisements and purchase products based off of social media ads. For Generation X, more than 51% have purchased items through social media, with 68% of those saying that they got exactly what they wanted. For the baby boomers, they make up 2.6 trillion in buying power, control 70% of disposable income, and hold 51% of wealth in the US. They are the force that is driving consumer spending. So next, I want to show you the potential to tapping into an affluent, experienced consumer base that wears scrubs. While this graph only shows the net worth of doctors, there are so many possibilities here, with their net worth increasing with their age. The list on the left shows the guidelines of who we want to hit with their annual income, starting off with those who start with around 600,000 a year, up to those who make more than 100,000 a year, just to the few of the career journeys that we can make our way into.
Now that we've explained our reasons for pursuing a more affluent demographic, let's talk about what this promotional strategy can do for us. FIGS already has a strong social media presence that can be leveraged for bolder content. That's the key word here, leverage. We don't want to upend our brand image or make any drastic changes to our target market. But for Q1, let's be bold. Let's assess the strengths of our brand and see how they can be applied for further horizons. Starting with Facebook. The good news is that FIGS has a strong social media budget that already allocates most of its funds towards Facebook, and we kept this in mind when building our strategy. If you look here, we've curated a statistic by Insider Intelligence that breaks down video consumption by social network and age. The bars in lime green indicate users aged 25 and above. This statistic confirms that among those who are older than 25, Facebook is nearly the top performing platform for video content, second only to YouTube, which makes sense, given that people visit YouTube for the express purpose of watching videos that they like. Video is the best performing post type on Facebook and usually generates up to 59% more engagement than other post types. We've conducted extensive research that confirms that people 35 and older are more likely to use Facebook more frequently than those below 35. Furthermore, Pew Research Center tells us that 72% of internet users aged 50 to 64 use Facebook. Facebook has the highest number of users in this age range, making it an ideal platform for a focused strategy. Promisingly, this age demographic loves to reshare content from brands they admire and do business with, which serves the purposes of our campaign well. Mandala and other notable competitors aren't utilizing Facebook for long-form, narratively driven, and engaging content that motivates users to share. Many of their videos are short, informational GIFs that tell followers about new styles or colors. This really leaves an opening for us to engage with our community in a way that our competitors haven't yet. Moving on to LinkedIn. Mandala has positioned itself as fashionable with a far more competitive price, which is something they advertise freely. Their customers value cost transparency, and Mandala provides a full cost breakdown of their products while emphasizing how much customers will save by choosing Mandala over other brands. We don't have to go to the lengths that Mandala does on their website, but LinkedIn offers a unique platform for people to engage with the technology and the practical elements behind our fixed products. Professionals on LinkedIn connect with brands through learning more about them. So we should utilize the unique nature of that space and focus on giving them informational content. By centering our blogging efforts around LinkedIn, we are focusing on more professional and affluent customers without sacrificing our current customer base. For these reasons, we want to use marketing that continues to appeal to our initial demographic so that we don't run the risk of losing customers to our competitors.
In conclusion, our proposal is to reposition ourselves more upmarket by expanding our age demographic through Facebook paid advertising and Google paid advertising, and through personalized content on all of our social media channels. By doing so, we will create brand love. Our community of awesome people will change throughout their career. Let's be there for them every step of the way. Thank you to our judges, the Western Washington University Department of Business and Economics, and New Engine. Are there any questions?
Great work, folks. Judges. Who wants to start?
I have a question. Great job. I think y'all laid out some issues that a lot of brands are working through. And one of those in particular, I would say, is acquisition versus retention. I wanted to hear if you had any thoughts on how you should or how you would allocate the budget to focus on both of those audience segments. And if you have any recommendations there.
When you say both audience segments, do you mean the current 18 to 34-year-olds and then the 34 and up?
I think more, yeah, if that's how you want to define like the current audience, but just in general, more so like how would you focus on getting new customers and how much spend would you put there versus how much would you keep and kind of like hitting the old customers that we're trying to like get to come back and purchase. So what would the split be?
Yeah, of course. So we already think that what we're doing right now draws in the 18 to 35 range. What we want to do is personalize our content for both those age ranges by representing those people within the 18 and 35 and the 35 and up. So that would draw them in that way, as well as using more platforms like Facebook and LinkedIn, who have more 35 and up demographic on those areas. And the like Instagram and TikTok are still personalizing its way towards the 18 to 35-year-old. And that's how we're kind of trying to draw in both consumers at the same time.
And to that point, we've seen and looked into how we've allocated our normal monthly $500 budget, and we don't want to change that and draw those funds away from reminding our existing customers about us. This $300,000 quarterly budget that we've been given additionally is simply more so for awareness, to spread the news about our company to this new audience that we're suggesting we should start attracting, who might not be as aware of us quite yet.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
While you're on this slide, I'm kind of curious. So you're of that $300,000, you're recommending $200,000 for Facebook and $100,000 for Google, correct?
Correct.
In the tables, Google actually had a higher ROAS currently than Facebook. So can you explain kind of how you decided to split that and give more money, essentially 2x money to Facebook, which had a lower return on ad spend?
Yes, I'd be happy to speak to that. Since our main goal is impressions, our cost per 1,000 impressions is much, much lower for Facebook. So when we're talking about awareness, we can just get so much more bang for our buck on Facebook, especially since that's such a strong platform for this age demographic.
To follow up on that kind of point and what Robert kind of touched on earlier, I'm curious what you guys' thoughts are on the idea of influencers rather than paid ads, or vice versa, or anything along those lines. I mean, if you were able to work with influencers and just give them free scrubs and let them be advocates for you guys or ambassadors, I'm curious about you guys' thoughts on that.
I think that's a great avenue to look into. While we were digging through our research, one thing that we found was, like we stated before, that a lot of the 35 and up have a hard time connecting with influencers because it feels very staged sometimes to them. And so they're more drawn off. But I can see going down the avenue of like getting people within their age demographic and getting them wearing scrubs, and how that would potentially garner more attention too.
I think adding on to that, one of the key points of our promotion strategy that I was really excited about was the idea of consumer spotlights and having consumers of Fig Scrubs post their own content, sharing their own stories about figs, and having figs sort of boost their presence so that in a way they sort of become the influencers. And that's really exciting because then you're sort of cultivating a community that's sharing their excitement over your brand. And we really chose that approach over choosing influencers who already have a strong social media presence, giving them scrubs and asking them to say, promote our campaign in a way that's been pre-written, I guess.
Great answer. And I just want to follow up on that. is what's the motivation for them to highlight you guys and post about you guys, or even like mention you guys to friends or anything? What's in it for them?
That's a great question. We've been really looking into in our research in terms of what people are saying about us online. And we're already seeing a lot of people talking about us on Reddit. I mean, we have a 60% like positivity rating on Reddit for people talking about us, which might not be great, but that number is growing. And so we're hearing more people talking about us. And as we continue to change our narrative to talk about brand positivity on social media, we think that that will follow in the way that other people are talking about us online as well. Does that answer the question, Zach?
Yeah, great work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
So I have a one or two questions. You motivated this this presentation by talking about Mandela. Do you see them with the rapid growth as being your most important competitor right now, or FIG's most important competitor?
Yes, so we do think that they are one of our more competitive competitors, because we seem to be hitting the same target demographic of 18 to 35. The only difference is the cost price, because Mandela has positioned themselves as low cost and quote unquote more affordable than our brand. More people between that age range is starting to go towards Mandala based off of their income, which is why we wanted to expand FIG's age demographic to 35 and up, who are more willing to spend more money for the products that they are getting.
Okay, great, thank you. And as a follow-up to that, it was a great answer. Follow-up to that, have you contemplated the idea of maybe an affiliate or flanker brand that you might use to capture some of that demographic?
We actually did not, but that is actually a really great idea and something that would definitely be looking forward to looking into.
Thank you.
Okay, does any judge have a final question? We have time for maybe one more question.
I'm kind of curious, just did you mentioned kind of trying to expand your audience and go older a little bit with kind of on model ads, kind of speaking to them. That totally makes sense. I love that idea. But as part of that, did you consider the idea that as you kind of age up, that there's some risk for potentially losing the younger generations? You know, example, someone like Tom's, who was very trendy for a long time, then they became essentially known as mom shoes and kind of lost the younger generation. So do you have any concerns as you kind of age up a little bit that you may lose that younger generation?
Yes, we originally did have a few of those concerns, but we felt by personalizing it for all age, like our social media hitting all ages from different stages, we are hoping to show that the younger demographic, that this is where you can be through Scrubs. Like, we want to start here with you and start your journey and your career, but we also want to make sure that we are there with you as you go. So by showing the older demographic as well, it shows that FIGS is not just made for when you start out in your career, but it's made for you throughout the beginning, the middle, and the end.
The long strategy, to echo what Ashley is saying, the long strategy is that we think this will help us actually retain these current customers in the long run, because we're showing them that it's not just for when you're younger and when you're extra fit, it's when you're, as you grow into your career and gain more experience and through your life's changes. In addition to that, we've studied some brands who have taken on this model of extending their age, such as Athleta has done a great job with that. Patagonia has proven itself as an athletic brand that is for all ages. And Peloton is another brand that we've been looking into that has done a great job appealing to all demographics. And so when we find that when we position ourselves around health, the age doesn't matter. It's the health and that people are drawn to healthy people that matters. That's a great question. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Okay, team from the A group, thank you so much for your presentation. Judges, thanks for the great questions. Excellent job. I am going to transition over to our next team of presenters. So let's welcome the team from the B group of presenters. And welcome Megan, Ashley, And the, sorry, Maddie, making sure everybody's in here and I see you all are ready to go. So I'll pass it over to you.
Yes, hello everyone. Thank you so much for being here. We're just going to get started right away. My name is Ashley Anderson.
My name's Megan Alley.
And I'm Maddie Childs.
And today we are going to present our FIGS positioning strategy for Q1 of 2022. So starting right away, we just want to get directly into the central issue that FIGS has been facing. FIGS has been the market leader in fashionable functional scrubs since our creation in 2013, but competitors are starting to imitate our strategy. We need to find a way to differentiate ourselves from our other direct competitors. So our mission is to differentiate ourselves by creating a strong, tight-knit, accessible community amongst healthcare professionals. So we have a few different activities that we want to pursue in order to differentiate ourselves and maintain our brand positioning and leverage our brand positioning. And we're going to get into all of these in detail throughout our presentation, but just as an overview, first we have the hashtag FIGSAwesomeHumans. This will be an organic social media campaign, which features user-generated content that highlights healthcare professionals who are embodying the FIGS mission. Secondly, we will have in-person community building events, which we have called Awesome Days for Awesome Humans. And finally, we will have FIGS Bins, which will be our low-cost alternative to our full-priced FIGS. Now, we have a few goals that we want to achieve through these different activities. Firstly, we want to build off of the differentiation advantage of brand reputation that we already hold. Secondly, we want to use that brand reputation to penetrate low-cost markets. And finally, we want to increase revenue, which we will do by reallocating our paid media budget in addition to these two activities that I have listed above. So in order to understand where we want to go with our positioning, we first need to understand where we are and who we are as a brand. And what better way to understand a brand than through their mission statement? This is our mission statement. We are committed to helping these awesome humans look, feel, and perform at their best, 24/7, 365 days a year. We create technically advanced apparel and products that feature an unmatched combination of comfort, durability, function, and style, all at an affordable price. So, who exactly are we targeting? We are targeting healthcare professionals who want to look and feel good while working so that they can focus on their jobs. Often we capture the attention of students and early career professionals, but we are by no means targeting a particular demographic as much as we are filling a need of healthcare professionals who want to look and feel good while they are working so they can focus on their work and perform at their best. We were the first mover in this industry. Before FIGS came around, scrubs were boxy and uncomfortable, and healthcare professionals were not able to focus on their jobs. Because we were a first mover, we have an extremely strong brand reputation, but right now we are doing nothing to nourish that brand reputation. So we want to find a way to build our community and start to nourish that reputation. One second, technical difficulties. Okay, one more. Yes. Okay. So let's talk about our current positioning. FIGS is a high cost, high fashion brand, and this is a positioning that we are planning on maintaining. But there is a couple different competitors that we need to address. Firstly, we have our low fashion, low to mid cost competitors, Carhartt and Dickies. We will not be covering these competitors extensively in this presentation because we believe that our positioning and their positioning are very different and are filling different needs in the market. So we don't really view them as direct competitors. Secondly, we have our high fashion, low cost competitor, Mandala, and we will be covering them later in this presentation, but we do just want to quickly note that they have demonstrated that there is a need for a high fashion, low cost alternative in this market. What I want to talk about extensively right now is our high cost, high fashion imitators, Metalita and Janu. We call these people our imitators, and in the next slide, we can see why. As you see here in this slide, everything about the strategy that we have already set out, these competitors have started to copy. So we have done nothing to create any sort of sustainable competitive advantage here. Our logos are the same. I've highlighted some words in their mission statements, which are very similar to our mission statement. They talk about actively empowering their community at JNU. At Metalita, they talk about serving the medical community. What I really want to point out is on the right here, I have 2 social media posts on their Instagram. And honestly, if you blurred out the names of the brands on these posts, you wouldn't be able to tell which one is which from which brand. They're both about matching with your friends when you're at work in your cute, fashionable scrubs. So clearly we need to do something here to differentiate ourselves. And we plan on doing this by building a brand community. We do still have an advantage in this market, and we are in the perfect position to start building a stronger brand community right now. We still have a 7% lead in market share over our leading competitor, JNU, and our annual revenue is still over $100 million or more. So as a market leader, we have the perfect spot to start building that brand reputation. And I'm going to pass it on over to Megan now, and she's going to talk about exactly how we plan on building that community.
Thanks, Ashley. So we want to show off our community of healthcare workers, no matter if they're wearing FIGS or not. So we want to know their meaningful stories that have impacted who they are and what they've really been through. So we want to implement this organic social media campaign called #FIGSAwesomeHumans across our social media platforms, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. And so basically how this is going to work is healthcare workers and their communities can nominate someone working in the healthcare field or who has in the past who they think exemplifies the mission that FIGS embodies of being an awesome human. And so submissions can vary in form from either being a video to a photo of a person with a description, giving their reasons of why they think this person should be selected. So this is going to be open on January 1st and will be open until March 31st, giving people time to share their nominees using the hashtag. We will choose the 5 best nominations using the hashtag, and these will be spotlighted on our current website as well as across our social media channels. Each winner will also receive a $20,000 donation to the organization or hospital they work at or have worked at in the past. And in addition, the nominator and the nominee will directly receive $2,500 each for their own personal use, whatever that may be. And so here's just an example of a post that we may see of people submitting through the hashtag. Here it says, I nominate my friend Sarah because she works especially hard in the ICU and gives her patients extra support and care. So this is just an example of something that we may see for the submissions. So we've talked about our, digital aspect of organic social media, but what are we talking about in terms of events? So we have these in-person events called Awesome Days for Awesome Humans. And this is showing our appreciation to anyone who is a healthcare worker and their families with free admission to these events. So these are dedicated to healthcare professionals, giving them a day to really relax and enjoy themselves while connecting with a community of people who are very similar to them. So we will be advertising this in our paid media strategy, which we will get into in the next couple minutes. But this is going to take place across 5 metropolitan local parks across the United States. So we have our events in Honolulu, Hawaii, Los Angeles, California, Presque Isle, Maine, Jackson, Mississippi, and Charlottesville, Virginia. And you may be asking, these are really specific locations, like why these specifically? Well, we chose these 5 locations based off of our research on Google Trends, which indicated that these were the most interested metropolitan area in FIGS apparel in the past 12 months in the United States. And so these events are going to be happening all on the same day at the end of Q1, which will be Friday, April 1st, 2022. And there's going to be a check-in booth at each park, so FIGS can really make sure who's checking into the event. And this will require healthcare workers, providing a medical ID, some sort of verification, as well as their emails when they do check into the event. And each event will include a guided meditation, yoga, and a hike led by a certified professional that we will pay for that day. In addition, there is going to be a keynote speaker specifically talking about their healthcare experience and ways to deal with mental health, specifically in healthcare. So we think that mental health is really important, and we want to help them look, feel, and perform their best, which aligns with our mission. And we're approximating about 100 people to be showing up to each event. And to the people that do show up, we're going to be offering a discount code for people to use specifically on our FIGS website for a limited amount of time. So specifically, how is this event budget going to work out? So our budget for each event will be $10,000, but since there are 5 events, there's going to be, a bigger budget of $50,000. So what does this look like? So we're going to have our keynote speaker, which is going to be based off of, what we found just on Google of research of how much a keynote speaker typically costs, which is $5,000. We will then be hiring 3 professionals for hiking, yoga, and the meditation that I mentioned earlier, and we will have $1,000 allocated for them based off of, how many times they teach their sessions during the day to smaller groups throughout the event. And we are also going to have $1,000 for free swag for our guest budgeting, just in case we need a little extra for people. And lastly, we have $3,000 as our additional cost as a buffer for, just depending on cities to cities, it may vary if we need a little bit more or not. And this is also including food, water, setting up, anything we can really think of, it goes to this additional cost. So basically, we've talked about this in-person activity, our organic social media campaign, but how are we actually going to quantify this? So when it comes to quantifying, these methods, how are we going to track first our organic social media campaign? And so for this, we're going to be looking at the number of uses of hashtags to see how well the campaign is doing across those months. And as well as we're going to be looking at our increase in followings to see if the percent increase on the social platforms is higher than usual. Now, for our events, there is a way that we're going to be tracking engagement and our attitudes for the event by using a customer metric, which is Net Promoter Score. And so we're going to be emailing our attendees how likely they are on a scale of 1 to 10 to recommend this event to their friends or colleagues. And we will then calculate this depending on the percentage of promoters subtracted by the percentage of detractors. So that's how we'll figure out how well they liked our event and their attitudes towards that. We're also going to be using that discount code that I mentioned earlier for seeing what they do on our website to track our revenue directly. So that's that. I'm now going to hand it back over to Ashley, who's going to be talking about more of our positioning. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much, Megan. That was great. So now we're going to transition into talking about our low-cost, high-fashion competitor, Mandala. Mandala has really demonstrated that there is a need for a high-fashion, low-cost offering in this industry. Now, we do want to maintain our high-cost, high-fashion positioning, but we do want to provide a product for people who prefer the value proposition of a high-cost, high-fashion brand, but maybe want or need to benefit from a lower price point. And this will be a new avenue of growth for our brand. So how exactly do we know that people want a low cost offering in this high fashion segment? Well, if you see here, this is our market share in comparison to Mandala's market share. Mandala was introduced to the market in 2018 with only a 1% market share, and they have grown rapidly in the last 3 years up to a 13% market share. Now, our change in market share between us and them used to be 14%, but now it is only at 7%, which has cut in half. So obviously there is a very strong need for a low product offering in this market. Now, I don't want to spend too much time talking about our competitors, but I quickly want to mention their promotion strategy, which we do not plan on copying. So as you can see here, their promotions are very product centric. Their prices listed directly in their Instagram bio, and all of their promotions, and this is just their Instagram, but it looks the same across all of their promoting platforms. Their promotion strategy is very product centric. We want to focus on keeping that community centric branding, which Megan has just so eloquently described for us. So we are going to be focusing on that community branding so that we are really attracting customers who want a high fashion, high cost brand and the values that that provides, but just with the added extra benefit of that lower cost. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it on over to Maddie now, and she's going to talk about exactly how we plan on doing that.
Thank you, Ashley. Now I would like to introduce our new low-cost option and how this will be implemented into our strategy. Figs Bins is our new approach to break into the high fashion, low-cost industry to set us apart rather than solely existing in our current established position of the high-cost, high-fashion industry. We will display a separate tab on Figs' current website to sell discounted and overstock items that haven't been selling. We'll determine which items to discount based on the revenue and sales dropping off according to our current volume and if it has plateaued. This will allow us to cater to an underserved market and take a portion away from these low-cost competitors. This will not negatively affect our brand image as we are still serving our prestige product. However, we will now be reaching a new audience and increasing sales. By serving these great products that are not in current high demand at a lower price, this will penetrate the high fashion, low price position from our positioning matrix and provide accessibility to those who want to shop at the lower price point without losing our current brand prestige. Every 2 weeks, a selection of these items will be stocked based on sales revenue from the website with prices that compete with Mandala pricing to reclaim market share in the low-cost segment. We calculated what % discount we can accomplish by comparing to Mandala's current pricing. But without access to the current contribution margin, we have assumed these outcomes based on revenue. Here we will display Figs' possible cannibalization from adding this new line. By taking our current market share in 2021 and comparing to Mandala's, who is a strong competitor in the low-cost, high-fashion positioning, we are able to make a sample cannibalization if we created a new entrant. As you can see in the highlighted parts in red and green, we have accounted for a modest estimate of a 2% loss of market share and a 3% gain, taking this from Mandala's market share. Now looking at the bottom table in the final column is our new forecasted revenues based on our new market shares. In the rightmost column of this table, we have shown our new Figs forecasted revenue for our new Figs Bin strategy. Our new forecast results in a $432.2 million revenue. This compared to our old revenue and calculated that we could create a 3% increase. Now, how will this all fit together? Here's a breakdown for our paid media strategy. For these next 3 months, we have decided to focus on our new implemented strategies for a new event and our low-cost strategy. After calculating costs for our new promotions, we feel that this distribution of cost is best to share our story and our new ideas. We have allocated slightly more to our new promotions while maintaining a portion for our regular product advertising. Here's another breakdown to further explain the monthly spend on each media channel. After evaluating each channel's performance based on current costs and revenue, we have decided to reallocate funding from Google to TikTok. We have taken the difference in performance from Google and TikTok, resulting in a 53% increase in performance from TikTok. Google currently has the second highest allocated portion of the budget at $165,000. Our plan is to take that 53% of Google's current budget and transfer this to TikTok to take advantage of their current increase in performance. Here's another visual breakdown of our forecasted revenue based on our new price revisions. How do we arrive at these numbers? By taking this 53% of Google's new budget and transferring this to TikTok, we have calculated our new funds. We know that Google is currently losing money. However, we cannot get rid of Google Ads because we need Google to capture the segment of customers that are at the bottom of the marketing funnel that are en route to purchase. TikTok's new revenue exceeds previous income from Google and TikTok combined by $134,000, giving us a new calculated revenue of $263,000, a percent increase at 49% in revenue. We know that we are allocating a large portion of our budget to TikTok instead of Google. However, by only modifying these two channels, we will be able to track these changes during this 3-month period, allowing us to observe individual changes and results.
All right, so why do we care about implementing these strategies? What's the whole point in doing this? Well, we care about our healthcare workers and we want to make sure that they feel supported. We believe that implementing these strategies will better Figs as a company in the future, not only making them more an accessible option for people, but also a company that people really love and truly believe in. We want to be known as the company that shows up for our community, as we said in our mission statement, 24/7, 365 365 days a year. And we will never stop trying to help our community. This concludes our presentation. And again, we thank you all so much for being here. It really does mean a lot to us that you take the time out of your day to be here at this event. So thank you so much.
Awesome work, team. Maybe we can open it up for questions.
Awesome. That was great. I had one quick question in regards to the discounts or the clearance section that you had. Do you have any concerns that by focusing on discounts, it's going to lead to an over time, a lower customer lifetime value, where we'll just have complications acquiring new customers if we're not focusing on clearance and like our prospecting campaign? So like when we're trying to attract new customers to the site, over time, if we are running these clearance scrubs and having them promoted on our website, are we going to have a problem with acquiring new customers if we stop focusing on those, or if we run out of inventory there?
Yeah, we definitely considered the mixed messaging that could possibly happen if we do have two different segments, that high cost and that low cost. It definitely is a risk. We just need to be very careful about who we're promoting to. That is a risk, but we do think that the possible benefit outweighs the possible risk there.
Okay, and how would we be careful? Like what are your ideas around how we could target, I guess, that type of inventory versus our regular full price inventory? Would it be on different channels that we would only promote that? How would we go about that split?
That is a really great question. I think our original idea was really continuing to hone that high cost brand and that high fashion community and idea, and really putting most of our efforts into that high cost, high fashion positioning and making that our message. And then that low cost is just an additional separate idea, but that is a really good point that I think we need to consider a little bit more thoroughly.
Thank you. Y'all did a great job.
I loved you guys' concept on focusing on the community with the social media aspect and the in-person events. I think those would be game-changing for this kind of industry. But to echo what Robert's concerns were with the FIGS bins, my biggest concern would be the discounted, those FIGS bins really cannibalizing the sales of regular sales. I can see that happening. And I think that would just be the biggest thing that you guys definitely want to consider more of in the future.
One thing I think we did mention in our presentation, I'm not sure how in depth, is that the FIGS bins would not be our most high selling items. So certain people are going to want access to certain scrubs. So they are going to be items that aren't selling as well that we move over to the discount option. So if there's certain healthcare professionals who need a certain color or want a certain style, they still will need to buy the high full priced FIGS. So that doesn't completely solve our problem, but I think it does alleviate it a little bit, that there is still going to be that if you want a very specific style and you want a very specific look, you still will need to buy the full price. But there is just that extra offering for people who may not be able to afford that. And we still want them to have FIGS, but they may not have like their first choice of like the best, most ideal FIG.
Looking at the event, I'm kind of curious. It seems like a lot of work for 500 total people. Can you just elaborate on kind of why you want to invest so much time into essentially 500 people and, and improving the NPS scores there?
Yeah, totally. I do agree with your point. I do understand that it's, it's a lot of work for, only 500 people, but I think like the risk we're willing to like put into this community event is really about building it. Like, yes, I understand that we might not be making that much, but I think this is sort of, giving back to this community of people, which is really important to show that we actually care about them. And so, money might not always be the outcome, but we want to show up for a community of people. But we do understand the risk that we are taking. So you bring up a really good point. Thank you.
Kind of building off of that, if it's 500 total people, 100 per event, presumably it's kind of one time. Is there a risk that it would come off as exclusionary at all, especially knowing that, like, let's say there's an ICU nurse, 36-hour shift, they don't have an option to come, but they want them to?
Totally. Yeah, I think it could definitely, understanding that people have different working hours and, that it is like considered on a Friday. We'd hope that, we want everyone to come to this event, but we understand if there are people out there that can't make it. I think in the future, it would be really good to consider an alternative event for those people that really wanted it, but they just couldn't make it to this event. And so I think when we thought of like offering 5 different locations, we really wanted to like make sure that people like all across the United States could come to these events. But I do see your point about, if someone can't make it, that would really, it wouldn't be great because we want everyone to come. We do.
Something that you guys could consider for something like that is adjusting the event to not investing so much into a keynote speaker and things like that, but making the event longer with not as many amazing things going on there, just to give a safe place for people in this industry to go socialize with people that are like-minded, that aren't in their exact same hospital or in their exact same area of the hospital. And just kind of socialize and get to know each other and, have the Figs brand sponsor and be a main part of spreading the love and building that community.
Totally. Yeah. Thanks for your input.
So I thought that you came up with this super cool idea about having these awesome human days, right? And it was really interesting how you used the Google Trends information to locate those, identify those locations. However, looking at those locations, it seems you've got both Los Angeles and you've got Presque Isle, Maine, and those are very, very different locations. And so what have you contemplated, like how you would justify the expense of running an event in Presque Isle, Maine?
Yeah, I mean, I think our additional thought process was like in our additional cost for that $3,000, I think that's where we'll kind of figure out the nits and grits of like how it's really going to work in each location. But I think you bring up a really great point of like actually focusing on like how it's going to vary, because I understand that both locations are extremely different. So that's something that I can definitely, and our team can take into more consideration. But I don't have an exact answer for you at this moment.
We did also make sure to plot the 5 locations. I think they weren't like point for point the top exact 5. We wanted to make sure it was like, I think the top 7, because like 3 of them were in the same spot in California. So we wanted to make sure they were spread out all across the country, so people who really wanted to come had access to a location that was at least somewhere close to them.
Was there any further thought about what you would do with the content that you create during those events?
Yeah, I mean, I think just in our initial thought process, we thought that this would be a great way to, if people give permission to have their photos taken or, some sort of video content, we'd love to actually get like footage of this, of how people are interacting, get their opinions of like if they actually like the event, and just giving us their raw answers. And so I definitely think that this would be a great idea to promote content on our website and our social media platforms. But I think we could go more in depth with looking at how specifically we would do that.
Okay, is there a final question from the judges? We have maybe time for one more quick question.
I can go one more time. I like the idea that we put together a list of KPIs that we would track, especially on the organic side, to understand if the hashtag and everything was successful. Do you have any sense on like how many hashtag usages would kind of like put us in a category of like we exceeded our expectations, or do you have any kind of research to understand like what engagement looks like on a more organic kind of like content strategy? Or where you would start, I guess, on kind of digging into that?
Yeah, so I think, digging into that, I know, there's some different, just looking at like the Instagram data or Facebook data, we could possibly track that on Google Analytics. I've personally used Hootsuite before, and I know that's something that that's an option to do, to look on there. So I think that would be kind of my first take, to really dive deep into that, to see what's the exact change, how many people are using it, what did it look like in the past month. So that's where I would start. And obviously our team would do much more research into that. But thanks for bringing it up, because that's a good point.
For sure. Yeah, again, love the ideas that you had listed out some metrics that you would track. So I think that's the most important part, but definitely great job.
Okay, thank you so much, Megan, Maddie, and Ashley. Great job. We're going to get ready to transition over to our final presenting team. So we'll say goodbye to team from the B group and welcome to the team from the C group, Nathan, and Ashani. Whenever you all are ready, we're ready for your presentation.
Alrighty, can everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Okay, let's get started. Alrighty, good afternoon, everyone. We are the marketing team Logan's Roig Stars. Shout out to any Succession watchers out there in the audience, and we will be presenting a marketing proposal for our company, Figs. Here's our team. My name is Nathan Kessie.
My name is Ashani Chudasama.
And I'm Nathan Sim.
Alrighty, let's get started with our agenda. First, we'll start off with who we are as a brand, go into our problem and recommendation, go into our target market and customer analysis, competitor analysis, and SWOT analysis, dive into our marketing strategy, break down our financials, and end with our conclusion.
In order to build a strong promotional plan, we have to understand who we are as a company. We're a direct-to-consumer business, and we're known for providing healthcare workers with the highest quality scrubs. We are highly fashionable and well-fitted, and when people think of fashionable scrubs, they think of Figs, which shows how strong our brand recognition already is. We also have great social and ethical standards, which are supported by an in-depth impact report found on our website. Our company is the current market share leader, and our scrubs are reflectively priced at its high value. So why now? With the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, there is a high demand for scrubs. This increases competition within the market while expanding our target market. With COVID being highly contagious, frontline workers need scrubs which are accessible. They also want to be able to reuse their scrubs without having to sacrifice the high quality. As COVID has impacted our economy, it is important for healthcare workers to have affordable yet high quality scrubs as they're working long hours. These affordable prices also allow healthcare companies to place bulk orders so that all their employees are comfortable and stylish.
All right, so after evaluating our company's profile and global scene, we believe we have put together a dedicated and tangible promotional plan to answer the question, how should Figs position themselves going forward as a current market leader in their space? With a budget of $500,000 a month and $300,000 over the first quarter of 2022, our premise recommendation on the next slide is this. We want to build around the brand, emphasizing our style and higher quality, utilizing statements such as the Lululemon of scrubs to our advantage. We also want to target our market, which we have identified to be medical students and high-income medical field workers. And lastly, we want to tell a story, highlighting FIG's existing corporate social responsibility and how we can bring long-lasting value to our customers and justify our price.
Alrighty, as you can see here, we have the two major target markets for FIGs, med school students and high income earners. In regards to med school students, these are young professionals looking for a comfortable and versatile product that stands out in the crowd. Not only are they wanting a product that'll last multiple 12 to 16-hour shifts, but showcase their fashionable style whilst walking down the hospital wing. Most med school students are between the ages of 18 and 35 and strongly consider brands that align with their values to be of great importance. We also have a high income earners. These are matured medical professionals who seek a practical and long-lasting product. Scrubs aren't meant to go bad within months. FIGs should last for years. With the typical age range of 35 to 55, this target market has money to spend, and even though they're getting on in age, they still want to look great. To further investigate our target market, we decided to conduct real interviews with real people. This is Allison. She's a recent graduate from Western Washington University and currently works as a phlebotomist at St. Joseph's Hospital in Bellingham, Washington. Allison is an avid FIGs user and believes they make her feel classy. She even described them as the Lululemon of scrubs. We also have Christy Kim, an experienced dentist and 22-year owner of a dentistry clinic in Bellevue, Washington. She's owned and worn multiple FIG scrubs in the past, and similar to Allison, believes they're like the Lululemon of scrubs. Her only complaint, however, is her continued reluctance to wear FIGs due to some sizing and fitting issues.
So now that we've identified a target market, who else is in the same competitive space? And we've identified three main competitors in the direct-to-consumer scrubs retail market. These are Janu, Medelita, and Mandala. And we've placed pricing on the y-axis and quality on the x-axis, showing in detail where we are in the current space. We've identified who our biggest competitors are by quality and pricing, but what about market share, right? Our company, FIGs, is the current market share leader at 20%, with Janu coming in at second at 14%, Mandala at 13%, Medelita at 6%, and other retailers and businesses at 47%. And even though FIGs is the leader of the medical scrub market, we have to look at growth over time. While FIGs does hold a comfortable lead, there are growing worries over an upstart competitor, Mandala. They've seen rapid growth through COVID-19, in particular, selling their cheap scrubs to desperate healthcare workers needing large amounts of disposable scrubs. With this in mind, our SWOT analysis and action plan given by Ashani will highlight why FIGs will remain on top.
We set ourselves apart from our competitors by being highly fashionable, producing top quality products, creating a consistent revenue stream, and maintaining a consistent market share growth. Although we produce top quality products, our pricing and inclusivity of our products are some of our weaknesses. With COVID-19 being more prevalent, the biggest threat we face are our growing competitors. Another threat we face is student debt, as a large portion of our target market are students. To keep us as a top competitor, we should utilize cause marketing, inclusivity, and create an increase in online consumption as consumers are doing more of their shopping online. Here is our promotional plan. We have 5 different strategies that we would like to implement. We'll start with human inclusivity, move into influencer marketing, go into content marketing, SEO and email marketing, and then give you our ideas about our referral program. The first marketing strategy surrounds human inclusivity. We would like to incorporate a plus size line. The plus size industry has an estimated worth of over $24 billion, and 88% of consumers will also be more loyal to a company that supports social or environmental issues. In a study conducted in 2014, the adult obesity rate in the healthcare industry was 32.7% and is continuously growing. To further elaborate, creating an inclusive brand makes consumers feel heard and valued. With there being a 32.7% obesity rate in the healthcare industry, creating an inclusive line would allow us to tap into a new target market, which was isolated before. Inclusion leads to brand loyalty, as customers will keep purchasing products that fit them right and make them feel confident. Consumers like to see products on real people who look just like them. To promote our inclusive line, we should use real healthcare workers as our models. We should also use customer feedback, such as Christy Kim's, to make the line according to the wants and needs of customers. The key performance indicators that we would want to look at include the conversion rate of prospective customers to official customers, customer satisfaction test scores, and the customer retention rate.
We also want to push influencer marketing. We know that influencers are not going anywhere anytime soon. And we also know that many potential Figs customers are influenced by what online personalities say about our product. This data here reflects this. 90% of physicians use social media. 51% of consumers have purchased a product or service based on an influencer endorsement in the past 2 years. 32% of consumers have purchased products that are endorsed by influencers of different racial and cultural backgrounds. Consumers prefer to buy endorsed products, and influencers do bring awareness to untapped markets. Medical students and medical professionals see influencers on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and we will push our products through sponsorships with them. In particular, we have identified 2 potential candidates to partner with to promote our brand. First is the YouTube vlogger couple Jane and JD, with a solid following of 117,000 subscribers with a history of having sponsored videos. Second is the Instagram influencer Nurse Blake, boasting 900,000 followers, and in particular advertises the shoe brand Asics in his Instagram bio. My question to you is, why shouldn't that be a Figs link instead? We will also utilize our funds to sponsor other influencers, both macro and also micro, for specific and loyal audiences. We'll be tracking this progress through several key performance indicators, referral traffic, and conversion rates, using algorithms to analyze how much are we paying these influencers and how much money have we made from them, from customers specifically using their referral codes. The content we push is also important. Content consumers want a message that they can feel comfortable identifying with. In particular, out of all this data provided, I want to focus on this. 82% of the time, people would pay more for a value-aligned brand. Now, this is really important because we can use this information to justify our valued prices. Specifically, they may prefer purchasing brands that support environmental and social issues. Companies that support these causes are more likely to gain consumer trust and loyalty. We also want to utilize and further promote the current Threads for Threads initiative, which, if you're unfamiliar, donates medical grade scrubs to medical professionals working in resource-poor countries around the world. We'll track the success through overall traffic, click rates, but also in particular, how much time is spent looking at our social and environmental initiatives page online, so we can gauge its worth value.
Yeah, we also want to improve overall visibility and brand awareness for Figs through SEO and email marketing. Here we can see that the #1 results in Google get approximately 32% of all clicks, including proper keyword search, updating our content, and pushing backlinks will allow Figs to maintain that top spot on the search bar. Furthermore, nearly 55% of global website traffic is generated from mobile devices. As medical professionals have become increasingly reliant on handheld technology, it's easier than ever to capture their attention through search. In regards to email marketing, we can see that launching a mobile responsive email design can increase unique mobile clicks by 20%. 78% of marketers have seen an increase in email engagement over the last 12 months. Email has been a very popular marketing strategy for years, and that is not changing anytime soon. Finally, we have a statistic that's quite extraordinary. Every $1 spent on email marketing generates a $38 return. That's a 3,700% return on investment. So what does this data tell us? First, mobile marketing is huge. We must make sure Figs' mobile user experience is both easy to navigate and pleasing to the consumer. Using technology continuously during their jobs, medical professionals are increasingly engaging with both emails and search. They're on their phones, tablets, and computers all day, every day. And by directing some of our marketing efforts towards SEO and email, we would be able to build visibility for the brand. As I mentioned in the previous slide, SEO and email marketing are especially cost-effective and offer fantastic returns on investment. In regards to our KPIs, we'd be looking at organic traffic or any traffic that's not directly paid for, some conversions, as well as overall brand visibility. Looking at the benefits of referral programs, we can see some data listed here below. When referred by a friend, people are 4 times more likely to make a purchase. Customers acquired through referrals have a 37% higher retention rate, and 81% of consumers are more likely to engage with a brand that have reward programs. So clearly, the idea of including a referral program seems quite beneficial to FIGS. Now, we know FIGS already offers that 15% off student discount, but what about the idea of a university partnership? Creating custom FIGS to represent universities would fill recent grads with great amounts of pride. We can also work to become sole suppliers for various universities, targeting our future market of med school graduates directly at the source. We would also love to experiment with FIGS-sponsored events, whether it be a TED Talk or some sort of similar medical conference. FIGS can sponsor and host events that not only bring in more customers, but promote community and innovation in the medical industry. Through these referral programs, we aim to create positive word of mouth. Consumers who see these promotions and rewards establish a sense of loss aversion and further drive them towards our brand. To track this, we'd be looking at key performance indicators, including customer retention and lead generation, essentially seeing how many customers we can obtain from such referral programs.
After presenting our great promotional plans, we have to look at the financials. And we have allocated our funds in this way. For the new product line, we've decided to put 25% of our monthly budget at $150,000 going to that plus size line that we discussed earlier. Influencer marketing, so any sponsorships on any social media platforms, also 25% of our budget at $150,000. Content marketing, 20%, $120,000. Email marketing, $60,000. Our search engine optimization, $60,000, and our referral program, $60,000.
Yeah, so to sum it all up, our marketing proposal aims to beat out competition using brand loyalty, inclusivity, and corporate social responsibility. Through our initiatives to create a plus size line and our work with Thread for Threads, FIGS is a company that values belongingness and giving back. We also wish to build a stronger customer base through SEO, email marketing, influencer marketing, and content marketing. With SEO and email marketing, we can promote our brand in a cost-effective manner. Not only are we making potential customers more aware of FIGS, but we're providing value to our existing customers. Through influencer and content marketing, we can gain trust in our audience and truly tell the story of our brand. Not only are we creating content, but allowing these users to engage in that content. Finally, we look to reach and develop community through referrals. With our experimental ideas of university partnerships and FIGS-sponsored events, we will be able to attract the brightest and best in the industry. FIGS isn't solely for the financial gain, but the social and sustainable gain of our world at large. Alrighty, thank you all so much for listening, and we are now open to any questions.
Yeah, the first question I have for you is in regards to your guys' email marketing strategy. What kind of content would you guys be putting in that? Because I mean, I get emails all the time and I delete 90% of them because I'm just naturally subscribed to them. So then why would I want to stay subscribed to you guys, and what kind of content would I be getting?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of a whole, we mentioned the idea of Thread for Threads and our social impact on the world, our impact report from 2021. So just kind of providing, I guess, value to the customer about what we are as a brand and how we can help improve their lives. Not only that, just including possible advertisements as well through email. I mean, I know it can definitely get annoying, but doctors, medical professionals, they check their phones and their tablets and their computers all day. So it's just a way to get brand awareness out. And if they'd like to subscribe, it's a great way to keep them involved in the medical community.
Awesome. Yeah, great work overall.
Thank you.
I had a question on the budgets as it relates specifically to influencer marketing. How did you come up with the $150,000 allocation there? And do you have any kind of idea around like how many influencers that would support or how long that program would run with that budget?
Yeah, so right, we allocated 25% of our budget. So if we're working with $600,000 a month, right, that 500,000 plus that 300 over the quarter, 600, 150. You know, we mentioned that we were interested in both macro and micro influencers. So the two that we provided, Jane and JD and Nurse Blake. Nurse Blake is slightly larger. He's about 900,000 followers. Jane and JD 117. Right. How much money we allocate for those influencers is of course reflective upon their engagement. How many likes are they getting? How many clicks are they getting? What's their subscriber count? And so, right, but 150,000 isn't, just going to Nurse Blake or just going to Jane and JD, right? It's going to be reflective upon how much reach they have to provide for us. But also, right, we mentioned it's not just them. We also want to put some money into some smaller micro influencers who target specific audiences, right? So if there's any, maybe smaller, couple thousand followers, but their following is much more devoted to that person, then we can really target that person. And we haven't put a specific number on how many specific influencers, because it really just is a case-by-case basis on who we think is most relevant to our product. But we figured that 150,000 is enough to cover, at least for sure, the 2 that we are putting as potential, plus a couple others as well.
Great, thank you.
I have a question about how you guys are doing your budgeting. I know initially, pre your new breakdown, there were $500,000 allocated towards various digital marketing platforms. Are you guys expecting to keep some of that spend there as well? It seemed like a lot was being taken out of it.
Sorry, I don't think I quite understand your question. So you said,
could you go back to the budget slide so I can visualize that? I think I want to be clear on how you guys are choosing to spend. Okay, content marketing.
So yeah, it's $500,000 per month plus $300,000 additional funds. So we broke that down just to average out to $600,000 per month.
Okay,
you go.
Yeah, are you anticipating, I guess, shifting the balance of, because currently the monthly spend is being broken down how it is into Facebook, Google, and TikTok. Are you guys anticipating keeping any spend going into those channels? I see SEO in here, but just want to make sure, like, are you pulling all of the spend from Facebook, TikTok, and Google?
Sorry, once again, spending all of our from TikTok, Facebook, and Google.
I guess, can you tell me where in this budget or in this total financial breakdown is the budget for spend on digital marketing platforms?
So that would probably go into our content marketing.
Okay.
Our content marketing on different social media platforms, where we're going to put that into Google or Facebook. When it comes to the specific influencers, that 150,000 is, just going to those specific influencers so that we can have that outreach. But for that specific kind of, targeting those websites, maybe some ads, that would be probably in that content marketing section.
Yeah, and I can
then also, sorry, go ahead. Nathan.
Yeah, I can add on to Nathan. Basically, our content marketing budget is built around more of us FIGs telling our story to the people, keeping people engaged on our own social medias, and then through influencer marketing, we can build awareness through other people. That's a lot of medical professionals, millennials who are, surfing TikTok, surfing Instagram. They can find someone that they trust, and they'll click on that referral link, and essentially we'll gain new customers and keep retaining existing loyal customers as well.
Great, thank you, and thank you for juggling my confusing question. I appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you for clarifying it.
So I guess one thing that it sort of ties back to the question of the email marketing. How are you going to maintain and enhance engagement with your customers?
Yeah, I guess that goes into content marketing as well as email marketing. But there's a lot of other email marketing services out there like Morning Brew, where they provide a lot of games, information, little pieces of factual evidence that you can, motivate yourself to go to every single day. It provides you with value, provides you with information. So through that, we'd be holding, posting about recent events, recent trends in the medical industry, possible referrals to other brands that we believe fit, maybe even some NGOs, environmental programs that we support as well.
Thank you.
Does anyone on the judge group have one final question for this team? Okay, maybe it seems like we're good to say thank you to this team. And thanks to everyone. I think our former presenters are also in the audience now. So it's the exciting time where we get to launch the People's Choice poll. And also we're going to have to say goodbye temporarily to the judges because we're all going to go and deliberate. And we will return hopefully in about 20 minutes or so. Audience, stay tuned, and presenters, of course, stay tuned. We're going to have a small presentation for you to watch in the time while we're deliberating. So that should entertain you a little bit, and we'll see you all back soon. So thanks so much.
Hi, everybody. I'm Abel, and we have a little presentation going if somebody's going to start that. Yeah, so yeah, I'm just going to talk a little bit about a few programs we have going on. First off, Give Day. It's happening May 26th. And this is your chance to make a difference in the marketing program. Every donation directly supports our target market. Our marketing program, sorry, I've got a lot going on in my head right now, which is rooted in inclusive excellence, career readiness, diversity and inclusion, and sustainability. Help us spread the word about our Give Day using #MarketersGive and #WWU Marketing Give Day. You can also help us spread the word by becoming a Give Day ambassador. Each ambassador will be given an ambassador toolkit and a media kit, and it'll give you key information and images to post in your social media. And the top 5 fundraising ambassadors will be given prizes, which includes WWU Cornhole. Yeah, I think that's kind of fun. Next up, we've got summer classes. We want to remind our students that registration for summer classes is now live and continues until June 27th. Among the benefits there are to taking summer classes, here are a few. You can graduate early. You can get the few classes out of the way, especially like I think digital marketing is offered, and that's really good to take over the summer because it fills up really fast. Next, classes are smaller. You can get deeper connections with your professors and your classmates. Next, yeah, high demand classes are available over the summer, digital marketing. So summer is a great time to take them if you missed your chance before. And you can enjoy the same level of quality. The classes take less time. It's only 6 weeks. Yeah, you can get them knocked out really fast. Next up is our blog. So we encourage you to check out the WWU Marketing blog. Stay tuned. There's a whole lot of upcoming content created by students in my applied IMC class.
My name's Abigail. I won the
Oh yeah, wait, we got a video.
Abigail. I won the SMA case competition in 2020, and these are my 3 tips for competing. The first tip is honestly kind of a funny one, but I gotta be honest, and that is pay attention in your marketing classes. Not giving anything away, but the reason my team and I won our year is because we used tools and maybe formulas that we learned in our marketing classes. My second tip is to practice answering questions that you don't have an answer for. Be kind and open-minded in your answers. If you get a question and you have absolutely no idea how to answer it, that's okay. Just respond and say, thank you for bringing that up. I actually didn't think about that in my initial thought process, but I will consider it heavily next time. Last tip is try to stay on topic. When you're reading the case, try and figure out what the objective is and what the answer is that they're looking for. There's more than likely a million different ways to answer the question that's being posed. So first, figure out what that question is. Second, figure out your positioning. And third, find the data to back it up.
Yeah, that's a really cool little video we got from an alumni who won the case competition. And good advice for next year. Yeah, and our socials, please don't forget to connect with us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and we even have a Twitter now, and we're trying to get more active on that. So yeah, thank you.
So as Kat pulls up the slides, I want to again say thank you to the competitors, to the judges, and to all the attendees. Really appreciated all of the votes that came in on the People's Choice Award. We just had, this was a fascinating conversation amongst the judges, entirely because the quality of all three of the presentations was really, really high. Just so impressed. We had easily 3 winners. And we had, I think, a really fun the conversation was such that it caused us to start, debating what would we do, and what about this idea? But these guys had such this part was so strong, and so there was a couple of things that nobody did, and the judges were talking about, like, Alex was wondering why nobody asked for more money, which would be a really interesting and I think appropriate thing to do, because this budget is really, really lean. And we wanted to see, I think Zach had some thoughts on what more they could have done in content marketing, and what they maybe could have done with some affiliate branding and things like that. But the reason I think the judges all went there was because we were so inspired by the creativity that we saw from the presenters themselves. It's really hard under these circumstances to pick winners, but that's what we've got to do. So that's what we did. So without further ado, we can announce the second runner-up. Nathan, and Ashani. You all did phenomenally well. And not only were you the second runner-up, you were also the People's Choice Award. Congratulations. We're really, really, really happy for you all. And we thought that the People's Choice Award, they were right on. First runner-up. This was hard. First runner-up was Ashley, Megan, and Maddie. Great job. And we were just, again, it was very, very difficult to decide. We loved all of the ideas around building community that you had. The content was really, really good. A lot of really good creativity. Love the switch to TikTok as a means of building that community. And Alex, did you have anything you wanted to add there?
I do. So this is actually something we've never done before, but essentially, the team from New Engine here was so impressed that we want to essentially extend the same networking opportunity to the runner-up team here as well. We don't know exactly what that'll look like yet, but we'll reach out and we'll get those details to you, because really just awesome job overall. We want to make sure that we give you a chance to come to the executive team over here at New Engine as well. So super excited to be able to offer that, and absolutely well deserved.
Yeah. So our winning team, Ashley, Arnav, and Nicole. Phenomenal job, team. You blew us away with your slides, your infographics, your analytics, your focus on building, on understanding what the brand position was, building it around a big idea, your focus on inclusivity, just the whole package was so strong. It was a very complete presentation. We're so impressed. So as Kat says, it's amazing job, everyone. This was, I think I've seen these every year, and I have to say, this was the strongest set of finalist presentations we've ever had. So thank you all for all of the amazing work. And I don't know if any of the other judges want to add any concluding thoughts.
Yeah, I can just echo that. All 3 presentations were honestly fantastic. So seriously, great work, everyone. It was awesome to see. Super impressive, and much better than I think as the judging panelists here, we were all talking about how this is much better than we would have done in your shoes. So super impressive.
Yeah. So this concludes a very intense week of case competition and Meet the Professionals. And I hope that everyone has enjoyed it as much as we have. So thank you all. and we will go after it again next year.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks attendees and participants and judges and sponsors. We're just so thankful for everybody's part in this event. So have a wonderful rest of your weekend, everyone. Thank you.